Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to my review of Black Clover chapter 283, where I am going to try my best to stay calm and relaxed throughout the entire video, because after reading this week's chapter, it would be an understatement to say that I was hyped. I mean, from beginning to end with the big reveals that we got in the chapter, I was literally bouncing out of my seat, screaming at the top of my lungs at how great this week's chapter of Black Clover was. Even though it was just a setup chapter, it was still amazing, and I cannot wait to talk about it. And you know what? It's actually kind of funny. I was kicking myself earlier today for not having time to actually on Thursday to look up the spoilers and leaks for this week's chapter. But after reading the chapter today, I am glad that I did not look up any leaked images or any spoilers, because getting to experience it firsthand, getting to see the big reveals at the end of the chapter firsthand myself, just made it even more exciting and even more hyped. Okay, so the chapter picks up where the last one left off, with Asta defeating the giant demon and declaring that he's going to head over to the Space Kingdom in order to help out in the fight. But he mentions that even though he's in Devil Union mode, with how far away the Space Kingdom is, it's going to take them a long time to get there. Now, Gimodo chimes up and says that long distance transportation is not possible without Master Noct, and with the state that he's currently in, he would not be able to help them. And this is going to be very important when the official translation comes out on Sunday, whether or not the official translation has him say state or situation. Because in terms of context, the two can mean completely different things. Alright, so if in the official translation he actually means situation, it could just be that basically he's saying with the situation that Noct's currently in, of having two devils in front of him and Dante being able to access 100% of his devil's powers, that he can't afford to basically focus on anything but what's in front of him. So he can't actually use his magic to transport Asta and them over to the Space Kingdom. But if he does mean state, then that means that Noct could already be in a state where he's already badly wounded or on the verge of dying because of whatever plan he enacted in order to get past the two devils in order to get to Morris. So yeah, it's going to all come down to what the official translation says, if it says state or situation. I'm really hoping that it's going to end up saying situation, because if it says state, then there's a possibility that Tabata actually might skip over entirely whatever Noct was planning to do. And I'm actually really interested in seeing exactly what Noct's plan was with Pumede, because the last time we saw him in chapter, I believe, 280, he asked Pumede to die with him. And this plan seems to be leaning into the theory that a lot of fans have had for a while now when it came to Pumede, that one of his characteristics might be able to give Noct the ability to have 9 lives or multiple lives. And I would be really interested in seeing exactly how he would play that into his magic. So I'm really hope that Tabata does not skip past this. And if he does mean state in the official translation, there is a possibility with how Tabata writes that he might skip past it, and the next time we see Noct, he might already be on the verge of death. Now, while the three of them are having this conversation, Asta's Devil Union mode goes away, and the three of them start falling down to the ground. And this kind of leads me to think that maybe Asta's whole 5-minute limitation isn't exactly accurate, because I doubt it's been 5 minutes since the time he activated his Devil Union mode to when he defeated the demon. I would say at the most maybe like 2 to 3 minutes, so unless the three of them were talking in the air or just sitting there for the last remaining 2 to 3 minutes, I really doubt that the whole 5-minute limitation is exactly accurate. What I actually think happened is because of the fact that since he was training with Gimodello, and more than likely not really going all out, probably using one attack at a time when he's in this mode, he thought that he had a 5-minute time limit because of the fact that he was only using one move or like maybe a few moves at a time, and that made it last for 5 minutes. But if I'm right, more than likely it's more of a situation of how much energy he uses. So since he actually used a lot of attacks to defeat the demon in the last chapter, that probably wasted a lot of energy, and the more energy or the more attacks he uses, the less time he can stay in the mode. Now, of course, this is just speculation on my part. We don't actually get any confirmation of that being true in the chapter or any real indication. For all I know, it could actually have been 5 minutes since he activated the mode in the universe. So this is the one thing about manga and anime that actually makes it very hard. 5 minutes to us is something completely different to them. So it's again going to be hard to tell whether or not I'm right about this. But one thing I did find interesting is the fact that we see in the chapter and get confirmation that he can't immediately go back into the Devil Union mode, because as they're falling, Glebe tells him to basically use the Demon Slayer sword to fly, and he doesn't say go back into Devil Union mode. So that leads me to think that maybe Asta has to wait a certain amount of time before he can reactivate it. And it also leads to the possibility that maybe there's a certain amount of times he can do it in one day. Now, as the three of them are falling, and this is actually the very first hype moment of the entire chapter, but as the three of them are falling, they get saved by spatial magic and get teleported to what I think is the Black Bull headquarters, because as they're laying on the ground, they get greeted by 6, as far as we can tell, just 6 people who come up and say that they're going with Asta to the Space Kingdom to back him up. And yeah, even though it's not confirmed in this chapter, we can pretty much all guess that these are the Black Bulls coming to back up their squad member and saving their captain. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting is the fact that the last time we saw the Black Bulls, there was only 5 members who were in the Clover Kingdom, but in this chapter there were 6 people. So more than likely we have at least one more member of the Black Bulls who has returned. And as far as we know, the only 3 members of the Black Bulls who are missing currently from the headquarters, who aren't over in the Heart Kingdom or doing something else, are Gordon, Magna, and Zora. So one of those 3 at the very least has returned to the Black Bull headquarters and are going to be going with Asta and the rest of the Black Bulls over into the Spade Kingdom. And this moment had me jumping out of my seat the second I saw it, because I was excited by the fact that we got pretty much all the Black Bull members besides Yami, Charmy, Luck, and Noelle. I mean, I guess we can't really count them all. But we got the Black Bulls pretty much all united again behind Asta to go and back him up. Now, the only thing that's kind of disappointing is that we only get to see 6 people in here, which means that only one more member is rejoining them. I'm kind of hoping that even though we did only see 6 people, that maybe Magna and Zora and Gordon, all 3 of them, are back, so we can have the entirety of the Black Bulls reunited in this arc. And unfortunately, if I had to guess which character is actually going to be rejoining up with them, I would have to probably guess that it's Gordon. Not that I don't like the character, but I was kind of more hyped to see Magna and Zora return, because the 2 of them went off on their own to go train, and I'm actually really excited to see how much over these past 6 months they trained and gotten stronger. Because we know that Magna failed at learning the arrays and being able to train over in the Heart Kingdom, but he went with Zora to basically learn his own method of training and get stronger. And since we know that Luck has had a major power up, and since him and Magna always stay around this, well, not the same level of power, but they always get power ups around the same time, we know for a fact that he definitely got a power up as well. And I want to see exactly what that power up ends up amounting to. Then we do a hard cut over to the Spade Kingdom and we see those devils. I'm still having a hard time deciding if I want to call them devils or demons. I guess I'm leaning a little bit more towards devils because that's what Tabata's been calling them. But at the same time, they look nothing like the devils we've been introduced to prior to this. But anyway, we see those devils attacking the civilians, and we see the resistance members of the Spade Kingdom jumping in to try to protect them. And they're doing their best, they're doing a good job, but there are just too many of them for them to really handle, and they are a lot weaker than these devils. But luckily for them, Fugoyan shows up and backs them up by burning a lot of them with Salamander. And obviously this was a badass entrance for Fugoyan, but this kind of leaves me disappointed because Fugoyan, I actually went back and checked, Fugoyan was actually the 3rd member of Nock and Jack's team, and out of everyone, those 2 need him backing them up the most. So the fact that he's here protecting civilians means that they're not going to be getting any backup, so Jack's going to continue to get pummeled by Dante, and Nock is going to have to fight off against the 2 devils by himself. Also, I can imagine that the reason why Tabata decided to have Fugoyan be the one out of everyone to show up here is because of the fact that in case Mario Leona needs backup in order to defeat her demon, he can be there basically to back her up, and we can have a sister-brother combo fighting off against this giant demon. Now, even though Fugoyan's out there, it's still not enough to defeat the devils, because even the ones he burned with Salamander are seemingly still moving and still attacking civilians, and then even more are pouring out by the second. So they're very quickly getting overrun and basically falling back and not really being able to protect anybody. And there's even a moment where this little girl and her mom actually get caught by the devils, and at first I thought that basically they got swallowed up by devils who are translucent, but then I realized that that's actually Sally's gel magic, and she's using her gel magic to basically protect those 2. And then we actually see that Maxa, surprisingly enough, has snow magic and is able to use it to hide the civilians from the devils in order for Valtos to basically transport them out. Now, this is actually kind of cool, but it leads me to think, why did we have to create a brand new character in order to do this? Because we already had a character who actually has snow magic, similar kind of to this, that being Nage, who hasn't been relevant to the story since his introduction arc, and since he's technically a criminal, he actually would have fit perfectly with this group of Sally, Valtos, and Rades. But you know, regardless of the fact that I'd rather have it be Nag who's there or have Max that have a completely different magic besides snow magic, their plan actually is solid and actually does work for a little bit. Unfortunately, they didn't count for how fast the devils were growing in number, so they immediately get found out and then they get attacked. Luckily enough, 2 resistance members actually jump in the way and try to take the attacks for them, but instead of them dying, they actually get saved by a magic blast that actually bypasses them because of a raise and hits the devils, killing them instantly. And then this is when we get the big reveal, which had me jumping out of my seat, and I'm sure everyone was hyped at this moment at the end of the chapter, and Tabata did a great job introducing them in this chapter the way he did. But this is when we have the big reveal that Noelle, Luck, Charmy, Leo, Nero, Mimosa, Gaja, the Spirit Guardians, and of all people, Patry, have showed up in the Spade Kingdom to back them up and take down the devils. And like I said, this was probably the most exciting part of the chapter for everyone, seeing these characters finally showing up in the Spade Kingdom after so long, which means we're finally going to get to see whatever the hell ultimate magic is up close and personal. I doubt that's what whoever attacked the devils in this chapter was, which I would think probably was more than likely Leo. If I had to guess which character out of all of them actually was the one to kill off the devils in this chapter, I would think it was probably Leo, maybe Luck. but I doubt it was Noelle, Mimosa, or Nero. Now, what's really interesting is the fact that Patry is here. And obviously Patry would be here because of the fact that William was kidnapped and him and William have a strong connection, so he would want to save him. But I don't see any of the other elves there. So it makes me wonder, did Fauna and them actually come as well? Or are we just not seeing them on panel? Or are they staying behind in the Heart Kingdom? Personally, I really hope they did not stay in the Heart Kingdom, because I've been saying for a while now that I want this arc to have an Avengers Endgame level situation where we have every single character that we've been introduced to show up and actually help out in this fight. And with how strong the Dark Triad has become and how strong the two devils that came out the first gate seem to be, if we get any more of the gates opened up, then we would definitely need everybody on deck in order to take out this threat, even with Asa's Devil Union mode. Now, I actually just noticed this as I went back to check out the chapter, and you can see in that final page, Gaja looks pissed. I mean, when you see him, compared to everyone else, he's the only one who was shrouded in shadow. He looks pissed off right now, and you can tell that he is actually playing no games, and he is here for one reason and one reason only: to save Lord Pachika. And that actually makes a lot of sense, because he, out of everyone, has the closest connection to her. He had devoted his entire life to protecting her, and he failed to do that. And not only did he fail to do it, he wasn't even there when she needed him most. So because of this, you know, he is the one who is the most out of this group invested in taking down the Dark Triad and saving her. And I cannot wait to see exactly what he ends up doing, what the training that he did over the past 3 days results to, and see what kind of epic fight he ends up getting. In fact, I hope all the Spirit Guardians get an epic fight in this arc, because of the fact that they were taken out off screen prior to this, and I really hope to make up for that. Tabata gives us an epic fight with each one of them. But anyway, guys, that's going to do for this chapter. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about this chapter. Were you as hyped as I was when reading it? Because like I said, I was jumping out of my seat, screaming at the top of my lungs when I saw Noelle and them show up. Even when I saw the fact that the Black Wolves were getting back together in order to help out Asta, I was just excited throughout the entire chapter, and I cannot wait to read next week's. But that's it for the video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about the chapter. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.